First of all, it's so nice to meet all of you guys. I'm just so happy to be here. So today, I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about not only giving a deeper understanding of reformer Pilates in general, but also how FS8 and F45 together, that there's so much potential in combining regular strength training, which we see a lot at F45, with reformer Pilates. So the idea is that Pilates is not a replacement for strength training, but it's actually the perfect addition to F45. So what it does essentially is it improves general athletic performance with a hyper focus on agility, endurance, and stamina. Long term, we're looking at helping you to prevent injury, which is incredible. It really enhances your range of motion and really strengthens from the inside out. And I'm talking about a lot of tiny muscles that are firing without us really knowing about it. So that's why you always hear people talking about those Pilates shakes. And you hear people, they leave a Pilates class and they're like, I felt muscles working that I never felt working before. So really that idea of like strengthening from the inside out, it's really our job to be able to properly lead our clients to different forms of movement and athletics that support their bodies and their lifestyle and their overall goals. So there's a really great opportunity today to just understand both the benefits of FS8 and F45 and how we can properly advise them on which, if not both, I think that all of our clients should be doing both F45 and FS8 so that we can properly educate them on cross training and why there's so many athletic benefits to have. All right, so we're going to talk about the basics, right? What is reformer Pilates? And so I'm just going to chat a little bit about that. And then after, I'm going to get into more FS8 specific style understanding of what Pilates is, because I have never seen something that has such a unique approach to reformer Pilates as FS8. So what a reformer is, it is a Pilates machine and it's loaded with springs. And so the purpose of it is designed to train the entire full body with resistance, control, and precision. So that carriage moves from right and left side. And the springs that are attached to the carriage, they adjust the different levels of resistance on the machine. So you're going to see these springs change all throughout class. We have a super, super heavy spring to a super, super light spring. And sometimes I will even have my clients with 0 springs on as well too, which you might think is going to be really easy, but sometimes no springs or the lighter spring actually means a lot more challenging because you don't have that resistance helping you to pull the carriage and you're really relying on your own muscle strength to get it done, which is humbling to say the least. Yeah, so these springs, they just adjust the different intensities, and there's also straps. We'll put the feet in the straps, hands will go in the straps, both upper and lower body. There's also a foot bar, so we do a lot of supine exercises. Think about the back on the carriage. Sometimes the heels will come up onto the foot bar. Sometimes the upper body will press up against the foot bar if we're doing an abdominal flow. So it's a really, really unique multifunctional machine that just allows you to keep the entire body in tension as you're switching from different muscle focuses. The body is really always working through full range of motion. So it really makes it so that every rep is counting that much more. So you can lift light, you can lift heavy. It really just depends on the spring setup and what's being cued by your coach at the time, what the muscle focus is. So all of this, of course, is going to affect the springs. And the great thing, I will add in one little thing about FS8 that makes us very unique that you really don't see in a lot of studios is every single time that we cue a spring change, we are giving all of our clients an opportunity to amplify or to modify. So it really makes it so that we are coaching one class for someone who is scared out of their mind to get on a reformer, who's never done it before, and a Nike athlete who is like ready to do the entire class on an amplified spring. It also allows for multi-directional movement. So a lot of deep core activation, full body coordination in general. And you can even train in inverted positions, especially for a lot of our core stuff, right? You'll see like a plank to pike going upside down, inverting the head, which is a lot of fun. And so it really helps you to engage deeper muscles that are really difficult to engage while you're standing, using free weights, using control, balance, and agility to make sure that you're supported on the carriage. Reformer Pilates balances the nervous system, and it also reduces joint impact. So at F45, we know it to be super high intensity, right? High output, a lot of joint loading, a lot of times incorporating weights or different props like a softbox or maybe like a sled push. A lot of times nervous system may get a little bit dysregulated with that. Although there are, of course, a ton of benefits. What I love about reformer Pilates is it builds strength through controlled resistance, which is the springs. So because you're often in positions that are really non-compressive, so think about, lying down in a supine position, like maybe you're side lying, maybe you're even fully inverted. What this does is it gives you an opportunity to give your joints a break. It's really, really low impact on the joints while still building intense muscle. So think about like deloading, not with inactivity, but with just a little bit more intention. You have those clients who just love to lift heavy, and we can talk to them and just say, listen, you are not walking away from a style of training that you love. However, you're just interpreting that strength training in a different way. You will find that your muscles will fatigue extremely quickly. You're also going to be brought to muscle stage failure very, very quickly. We put extra emphasis on the timing, the tempo of movements. That slow range of motion and intense time under tension most times leads to quicker breakdown of muscles and complete muscle failure. So again, it's like going back to those Pilates shakes. And I cannot tell you how many times my clients will come in and they think it's just something that you hear on TikTok. They think it's a joke. It's not a joke. It's a very real thing. They're shaking through it. They can't get to the next rep. And I'm talking about clients who lift very heavy, my strong men that come into the class and they're shaking on like rep number 2. And so what we love about this is that when they hit that high level of muscle failure and fatigued through adaptation, their muscles are actually going to grow back stronger. So all of the elements that your clients will love about lifting and feeling that level of exertion and being sore the next day, it's still going to translate on a reformer machine without the joint impact, which we love. Lengthening under a load is really, really big for strength development, also for injury prevention, which of course we're big on at FSA. We really utilize a lot of eccentric muscle contraction, especially when you're resisting the springs and resisting gravity itself. When you think about a lunge on a reformer and then you're pressing up against the carriage and lengthening the spring, pressing it away, and then also pulling it backwards. So you're resisting the pull of the spring, but you're also demonstrating that eccentric contraction as you pull the carriage back in, kind of still fighting against that time under tension. So it builds muscles again when you fatigue them through adaptation when they grow back stronger. I joke with my clients a lot. I'm like, they're almost like bulletproof muscles because it's not just maximum output that we're talking about, but it's also every single degree of motion it's being worked. So when you're pressing the carriage out, it's working. When you're pulling the carriage in, it's working. So you really never step out of tension unless if you step off the machine itself, which is great. And so this is my fave, okay? All my F45 people are going to love this one, right? F in FSA, baby, it stands for functional as well, too. We are all about true functional movement. So I love all my guys out there, but a lot of my male clients, and especially I'm sure some of you guys can relate looking at your clients as well, to at F45. Our men are so strong, but they're so tight. And ladies too, of course, but we see that tightness a lot, especially in the hips, the spine, the shoulders. You're training the muscles through full range under resistance. So it's improving that functional mobility, putting extra emphasis on those places that are tight, again, the hips and the shoulders and the spine. So the more full range your squats are then going to be when you get back to F45. And same thing with, thinking about overhead presses and deadlifts. So all of these movements that you see constantly in F45, the mobility and the full range of motion that you're training at FS8 is only going to make it so that not only are your lifts stronger at F45, but you're operating from a place where you have strengthened the muscles again, kind of like from the inside out. Body awareness and core control. Right? People often think reformer Pilates, they think about core and abdominal and oblique strength, a super hyper focus on true building core, true strength, but not just the abs, but also the pelvic floor, the diaphragm, and super deep stabilizers like the rectus abdominis, the transverse abdominis. So again, those muscles that you're really not feeling working, but whenever people say, whenever coaches say, engage your core, those are the muscles that they're really talking about. And clients are like, which part of the core, right? So it makes it so much easier on a reformer to feel those muscles that your coaches are always telling you to engage. And so learning how to engage these muscles, these really deep stabilizers at FS8 will enhance your lifting mechanics like crazy. And it's also going to reduce back injuries, hip injuries. The more that you have that upper abdominal wall engagement, right? Especially thinking like the transverse abdominis, which actually wraps around the spine like a corset. So the more that that is engaged, the more that it's strengthened, the more stabilized your spine is going to be, the better your lifts are going to be, the heavier you're going to be able to lift when it comes to those deadlifts or when it comes to really anything that you're doing on a strength or even a cardio day at F45. So mind to muscle connection and performance crossover. So Pilates improves just the sense of where your body is in space, which is going to help to lead to better movement patterns. And it was so funny. Anna and I were preparing for this, and I was thinking about that move where you're kind of jumping from side to side. And I was like, Anna, what is that called? She's like, ice skaters. I'm like, yes. So that's what comes to mind when I think about how FSA really strengthens your more endurance, see more agility, balance, all of those elements. Another thing that I think of is like soft box jumps, right? You need a lot of balance, a lot of agility to have that nice soft landing in a really low squat, then to be able to hop back off the box. And so it really helps you to then, again, take those skills that you learn at FS8 and bring it onto the floor so that you can focus on pressing in a little bit harder in F45 and you're not just trying to stick the landing. I love this slide. So all in all, FS8 and F45 are super complementary to each other. All clients benefit to know all of the perks that come with not only training separately, F45 and FS8, but also together as well. Because at Club Sports Group, we really just want to see all of our clients to be the strongest people that we can be. FS8 is just one of the most unique forms of reformer Pilates that I've ever seen, because we're not just a classical Pilates studio at all. In fact, we're kind of like the complete opposite. So a lot of times we'll get clients that come in with their pink set and a bow on and just makeup done. And I'm like, girl, you have no idea what you are in for. So we have a couple of different classes that we offer, right? We have our OG class, our original class, where you are going to see a lot of elements of classical Pilates, yet like a club Pilates, for example. But then if you come to our flex day, which everybody here would love, it's our strength infused day. So, right, that is a day where we're focusing heavily on strength. We always have dumbbells out. For example, something fun that I coached last week was an inner thigh day. So standing on the carriage with a light spring. So even just standing there, you're already fighting for your life just to hold the carriage still. Holding the dumbbells in hand, we would then do a deadlift series there. And also cardio on our cardio days, and just elevates it and makes it a lot of fun. And so F, of course, is for functional. S now is for style. And then our 8 key elements. So what these 8 key elements do is they represent like FS8 as a brand. So posture, cardio, coordination, flexibility, mobility, balance, mental health, resistance. Pilates was actually originally created as a tool of rehabilitation for the muscles. That's super low impact, but still allows you to build strength and integrate, again, full body, full range of motion, heavy focus on core and also your breathing, right? So that's something really wonderful that I love, is that there's a ton of cues that are focused to the breath. Really important to have a stable pattern of breath throughout your entire workout. And again, our clients learn this in FS8, take it with them to F45, really only strengthens their movement. Tone is specifically created by FS8 HQ. And what it is essentially movement that includes light and or heavy resistance. And so think activation bands, definitely dumbbells, sliders, body weight for sure, and even like the straps that we'll use laying down. And it helps you to focus on dynamic movement for a functional approach. So we combine exercises that focus on muscle definition and activation, cardio for sure, alignment, and just a bunch of different modalities that really help to bring in elements of strength. And this is really what sets us apart. It's a little bit wicked in like the most loving, incredible way. I love it. And last one is yoga. We've definitely taken a lot of like traditional yoga poses and then just blended them with stretches and exercise that either warm up or cool the body down. And that also just aligns with the wellness philosophy that we have at FS8. Mental health is a really important part of our focus at FS8, as is the breath, as is like a calmness of the mind. So it just gives us an opportunity to help our clients to bring their mental awareness to thanking their body for everything that it does for them. I always say something to my clients at the end of class, like thinking about what your body allows you to do, even just 5 minutes, the amount of blood that your heart is pumping through your vein, and just to take a moment to slow and thank the body for what it's done. So yeah, that is us at FS8. And if you can't tell, if you love F45, you will love FS8. And I really do hope, I'm going to chat with Anna about this, to kind of do like a vice versa situation. Like I would love to have F45 chat with our FS8 coaches and educate them a little bit more on F45, because I really think there's such a great opportunity for all of us to help our clients to cross train. And yeah, thank you guys so much. This was really such a blast.